Now, using Whitman's equations and the equation that I developed, let's take a look at cyber identity theft. In this case, the defender, we know from the Bureau of Justice Statistics that the annualized loss expectancy in 2008 roughly was $9 billion a year. As we said before, the exposure factor is always 100%. They also reported that 6 million people a year were attacked. Now that would be the ARO. So if we know that the ALE here is 9 billion and the ARO here is 6 million, we can compute the asset value is $1,500 per attack. So if a person is victimized by cyber identity theft or any kind of identity theft, they're liable to lose $1,500. The cost to society anyway would be $1,500. What this means is that a $9 billion problem, which is this value here, divided by 300 million people in the United States of America, roughly, means that the cost of identity theft is $30 a person, roughly. $30 a person, and that means all identity theft, not just cyber identity theft. If we consider it's only cyber identity theft, that's 5% of all identity theft, which yields $1.50 per person per year. Now, from the attacker's standpoint, the attacker also stands to gain with each attack the asset value, the bank account or the amount that's stolen on the credit card, $1,500. In a widely reported Gartner Group report, it indicates that the FBI and other sources have given 1 out of 700 as the probability of getting caught for identity theft. Now, if we know that the asset value is $1,500, and we know the probability of getting caught is 1 out of 700, we can compute the cost of getting caught. That's assuming that the cost of getting caught times the probability of getting caught is the annualized cost of, I forgot what it was now, whatever it is. What's the name of it? God dang it. I hate when that happens. Annualized cost of attack. That's what it is. So the cost to the perpetrator of attacking is going to be $1,500 divided by 1 out of 700, which ends up being roughly $1 million. In other words, if you're willing to go to jail for $1 million, then attack. Now the question, of course, that leaves us is, what is the economic feasibility of cyber identity theft security? Let's take a look at some more information here. This summarizes what we just said here. Cyber identity theft basically has, the major component of it is credit card theft. 53% of the victims in the Department of Justice report said that credit card theft was their identity theft. I don't know what you want to call it. That's what happened. Now, there are many, many other types of identity theft. One of them is using another person's identity to get medical care. Another one is using another person's identity to get a job, or government benefits, or renting an apartment or getting a house. Or if a law enforcement officer comes and says, no, I'm not that person, I'm somebody else, and so they use the identity to avoid getting charged with a crime. Now, we assume, for the purposes of this presentation, that all cyber identity theft is financial, but we don't know that that's the case. It may be less than that. This is what the Federal Trade Commission reported as the types of how identity was obtained. It said that basically hacking into a computer and phishing were only 1% each. It didn't give any more decimal points there. The United Nations estimated that 5% maybe of the United States losses that they computed, which was a different year, could be attributed to cyber criminals, or so that basically not all identity theft was cyber identity theft, but they said maybe it's 5%. It may be a lot less than that. And consider this, half of this cyber identity theft was coming from phishing. So given that, how can we defend against that using technical means? I mean, if we can't stop emails from coming in, if a phishing attack happens, that's not something that we can definitely necessarily defend against. So let's take a look at the cyber identity theft per capita. That little white box there represents all identity theft on a per capita basis. The little red dot inside the white box, that represents all cyber identity theft. Now, the problem is not non-existent, but it doesn't appear to be a huge issue compared to some other problems. The final question that we all have to ask ourselves in the information security industry is, considering cyber identity theft security, what is the net benefit? How much should we spend on cyber identity theft security? Less than $1.50 a person. Otherwise, we're wasting money. Our next topic will be cyber intellectual property theft.